Now we're going to make our Corolla baskets, which our ice cream and strawberries will go in. We've got icing sugar, which has been sieved, plain flour, which has also been sieved, egg whites, and I've got some unsalted butter. The unsalted butter has been cut into small cubes, and what we do with that is we put it in a pan and we turn it into what is called a beurre noisette. So we put this butter on the heat, and it cooks until the solids in the butter turn nut brown. Here's one you see I did earlier, and you can see in the bottom there of the pan you've got the whey from the butter which has turned a nutty colour, and that will give wonderful flavour to our baskets. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we want to combine our icing sugar and our egg whites. So icing sugar into the bowl, being a little bit careful not to send it everywhere. Egg whites in next. This will make a lot of the basket mixture, but it keeps very, very well in the fridge. We're up to 10 days, absolutely no problem. Once I've got that together, we're going to actually just mix that. What I always tend to do is just by hand start that combining, because otherwise what you'll find is that when you turn the machine on, you will send icing sugar absolutely everywhere. So I just start it off by hand and then onto the machine just to finish off. We're not whisking this mixture, we're combining it. So it doesn't want to go on for too long, but you can see there the mixture hasn't gone everywhere because we just combine the two ingredients first. But it's important when you do this that you just give the butter a little bit of a scrape, because we want those lovely nutty brown bits into our final mixture. And make sure they come out, and then that's going to go down the side of the machine. Lastly to this mix, we're just going to add our sieved flour. You can sieve the flour. You can sieve the flour directly in if you choose to, but I've sieved this first. In we go. And again, we're not working this mixture particularly. We just want to bring it together. And that's our basket mixture done. And that will just now stand in the fridge until required, and it will thicken up slightly at that temperature. These are the Corolla baskets. What we've got here is our Corolla mix, which has been allowed to set overnight in the fridge. It's still quite liquid, it's going to be quite liquid, but we want that because we're going to spread that with a spoon in a moment. We've also got there a flat baking tray. Our oven is preset on 160 degrees, and the flat baking tray has a siliconized baking mat on it. So what we want to do now is spread our mixture onto the tray. So we give the mixture a stir up to start with, make sure it hasn't settled out. And then what we're going to do is put 4 on each tray, and we put a spoon on like so. Just spread it with the back of the spoon. Your tray needs to be cold each time, so when you're making a lot of these, we're making 50 up today, you want to make sure your trays are cold in between. We have a blast chiller here at college, but if you don't have a blast chiller, just make sure that you either use a fresh tray or you allow the tray plenty of time for it to cool. Otherwise, when you put the mixture on, it will spread and you will end up with badly shaped baskets. So that's 3 and 1 more. I also find that overloading the tray is a mistake, and you will get the baskets running into each other, and then they become difficult to separate. So you want to just keep 4 to a tray. You can get up to 6 trays on the go at once. It's not a problem as you get more confident in doing these baskets. If you choose to, you can put a few flaked almonds around the edge. You don't want too many. You can equally use nibbed almonds if you wanted to, but we'll just put a few flaked around, and that will be our presentation side of the basket. You can see here now that these Corollas are baked, and they've got a lovely rich golden colour. So what we want to do next now is we remove them from the tray, carefully using a palette knife. It should come off nice and easy. And then once they're off, you place them over the upside down Dario and hold them firm. You want to hold them firm for 5 seconds and then carefully peel your cloth off there, but leaving the Corolla on the Dario, and then go to the next one. Now, if you don't work very quickly, what will happen is the Corollas will actually set back up on the tray and go solid, at which point if you try to mould them, you're going to shatter them. So if they do turn brittle on you, you can just pop them back in the oven for 3 or 4 minutes and they will be pliable again to mould. You should be able to mould them just in time with 4 on the tray. He says, seeing if you can. Yeah, see that one's going brittle out. Just. But what's important is that you get this good shape. And what tends to happen, so there you have now your nice neat Corolla baskets. They're set up fairly instantly, and they're lovely delicate little wafer to put your ice cream in. Is that camera on those nice and neat? You see they're set up quite quick. But if I'm being critical here, and I've done these 4, that one isn't as good as these. I prefer these tighter ones here than that one there. Today we're going to make some vanilla ice cream. To start with, I've separated 450 grams of egg yolks which I put into this bowl, and to that I'm going to add 400 grams of sugar, and I'm going to beat that with a whisk attachment until it's light and aerated. That's going to take about 15 minutes. I've got some vanilla pods here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to infuse the vanilla with my milk and cream. But before we infuse the vanilla with the milk and cream, I just de-seed it. So if you see here, what I do, I push the vanilla pod nice and flat, and then I run my knife down the side of the vanilla pod, like so, little paring knife. I open it out like a book, and then I strip all the seeds, and the seeds and the vanilla go into the pan, like so. Making sure I get all the bits of vanilla seed there and everything, because it's going to give us the most wonderful vanilla flavour. Proper vanilla ice cream will always have the little flecks of the vanilla seed in there, whereas anything made with a flavouring, you won't see the seed in the same. And now to that vanilla, we're going to add a litre of cream, and a litre of milk. I'm just going to rinse the cream jug out so we don't waste any. The milk, a litre of milk, a litre of cream, 4 or 5 vanilla pods, and then we're going to get our milk mixture onto the stove. we're going to bring that to the boil. When it comes to the boil, we'll turn it down to a gentle simmer for about 5 minutes and let that vanilla infuse. Now, whilst our milk and cream are infusing with our vanilla, we have here our egg yolks and our caster sugar, and I'm going to put this onto the machine. A hand whisk if you want to have strong arms, and we're going to put this on, and this is going to run at full speed for about 15 minutes, and that will allow it to volumize. At the end of the 15 minutes we will mix the milk and the cream mixture with the egg, and then we will cook it out to 82 degrees, at which point the egg will be cooked, and we will then cool that mixture and the ice cream will be ready to go. Eggs and sugar has volumized up, it's light and fluffy, and what we're going to do now is we're going to put it back on a lower speed, and we're going to add some of our infused milk and cream. We add it slowly so it doesn't scald the eggs, and then we're going to go back to the pan and cook this mixture out until it's 82 degrees. Now what we're going to do is put that back into the pan and cook that out until it's 82 degrees. So this now goes back in. Make sure it's all nicely combined. This mixture has now reached 82 degrees. You can see there that it's thickened, but also if we didn't have a probe, you can see there it coats the back of the spoon, which tells us that the eggs have thickened out in the mixture. Okay, you can see here now that we have the vanilla ice cream. This has been allowed to cool. It's now quite thick mixture. And what we're going to do next is we just want to pass this mixture now. So we're going to pass it through a fine sieve, and we pass the mixture to remove the vanilla pods and any little tip here. When passing liquids through a sieve, if you use a small ladle and just move it at the base of the sieve, it goes through a lot easier. We now have here the passed ice cream mix, and I've just got a ladle here. And we're going to put this into the ice cream machine. I'll just show you how much we put in an ice cream machine. So into the ice cream machine with it, hold the second blade like so, into that machine, and then just turn that off. We now put this on to churn. On with the lid, and then on these controls on the front, we take the timer around and we click them both on. One of them freezes and the other turns. You can see here now this ice cream's about ready. You can see it's thickened up and looking like the consistency of what you would imagine soft ice cream to be. I've got a tub here ready to put it in. I've put the tub in the freezer first so it doesn't melt as it hits the tub. We just switch the churning and the freeze off, and then we carefully just take the ice cream out and into our tub. As we're churning another batch of ice cream in a second, I don't need to worry about getting every last bit out. I just get most of it out and then I top it up. But I also have to remember to be quite quick to get this ice cream back to the freezer, because otherwise it's going to melt, and we don't want it to melt and refreeze. It will turn very solid.